Hello and welcome to AFRICUNIA Television News Update, bringing you update from the African scene, the foreign scene and the world of sport. My name is Deborah Ezeh. Thanks for joining me. On African scene today, we begin from Zimbabwe, where the main opposition leader, Nelson Chamisa, feels optimistic about winning next year's presidential elections. Chamisa narrowly lost the general elections in 2018 to Emerson Mnangagwa in what he denounced as a stolen vote. Referring to the change of name of his party announced this week from Movement for Democratic Change to Citizens Coalition for Change, Chamisa claims it's a break from the past. And moving on, Zambian President Hakainde Hichilema arrived in South Africa to discuss security and trade between the two nations. Hichilema has met with South African President Cyril Ramaphosa, who is currently chair of the SADC on matters of politics, defense and security cooperation. Zambia's opposition has criticized the visit, questioning the president's motives after he described this as a costly visit. And in Mali, Mali's Junta has advised French Defense Minister Florence Parly to observe the greatness of silence after she accused the army leadership in the Sahel states of provocations. In an interview broadcast, Junta spokesman Colonel Abdoulaye Maiga also accused France of colonial reflexes and of using regional organizations to divide Malians. Relations between Mali's ruling military and France, the former colonial power, are frayed since the army seized power in a coup in August 2020. But tensions have risen further since December, when the West African bloc ECOWAS imposed sanctions, including a trade embargo and border closure on the conflict-torn nation. And now we head to Nigeria, where 3 persons have been confirmed dead while many houses were razed in a Horo community, Ughelli North Council, after a truck conveying liquefied petroleum gas exploded. The accident, involving 2 other trucks at the popular Ohoro Junction, Umeru Kingdom, occurred on Wednesday night. About 25 houses were lost in the inferno, according to one of the leaders of the community, Simon Okofo. It disclosed that the incident happened at 3 a.m. in the morning, when many of the community people were still in bed. And still on the African scene, nearly 1,500 people died of malnutrition in parts of Ethiopia blockade Tigray region over a 4-month period last year, a new report by the region's health bureau says. The report also cites an accumulation of more than 5,000 blockade-related deaths from hunger and disease in the largely official death toll yet associated with the country's war. The deaths were devastatingly caused by malnutrition, infectious disease and non-communicable diseases, as a health bureau and partner sought to gauge the effects of the Tigray population of its health system being largely destroyed by combatants. And on to the foreign scene, separatist insurgents have claimed responsibility for an attack on Pakistani army posts near a southwestern port in which claimed China is investing. And the army said 10 soldiers were killed. The attack, launched late on Tuesday in Kerch district north of Gwadar port, was the heaviest in years in a low-key insurgency that ethnic Baloch insurgents have been waging against the Pakistan government. And moving on, Xiomara Castro was sworn in as Honduras' first woman president on Thursday in front of a cheering crowd, including U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris, who pledged U.S. government support to stem migration and fight corruption. Castro's inauguration ends the 8-year rule of Juan Orlando Hernandez, a one-time U.S. ally who has been accused in U.S. courts of corruption and links to drug traffickers. Even as Hernandez lost office, a U.S. congresswoman called for him to be indicted and for requests to be made for his extradition. And now in Yemen, at least 5 people were killed and 34 injured in what Yemeni government media said was a Houthi missile strike on Marib city. Aid agencies say the children late on Thursday said 28 civilians had been killed or injured and that international law must be respected in Yemen's 7-year conflict. The fighting for Marib has dashed UN-led ceasefire efforts as both sides wrapped up military operations. And now we head to India, where India's capital Delhi lifted a weekend curfew and allowed restaurants and marketplaces to reopen on Friday, following a sharp drop in new infections of COVID-19. Under new orders, however, the city will remain under nighttime curfew and schools will be closed. Restaurants, bars and cinemas will be allowed to operate with up to 50% capacity, and the number of people at weddings will be restricted to 200. And now on to the sports scene. Liverpool is considering making a late €45 million move to sign Luis Diaz from Porto, who are also in talks with Tottenham for the forward. The Colombian international winger was a target for the summer, but they may decide to bring plans forward because of strong interest from Spurs. Tottenham have been locked in talks with Porto over Diaz this week, with the Premier League club said to be willing to pay up to €46 million. And finally, Egypt's captain Mohamed Salah has set his sights on finally winning silverware with the national team after leading them to the African Cup of Nations quarter-finals. The 29-year-old forward scored the decisive penalty on Wednesday as the Pharaohs beat Cote d'Ivoire 5-4 in the shootout after their round of 16 clash finished goalless at the Japoma Stadium. Salah admits guiding his country to Africa's biggest prize for the 8th time will surpass all his other achievements, with Morocco now standing between them and a place in the semi-finals. And now that's how we can take on news update today. Do follow all our social media platforms on Jointim, Pangram, Instagram and Facebook respectively. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, like and leave a comment on the comment section. Once again, I am Deborah Ezeh. Have a beautiful weekend.